just want to say thanks to my fellow panel members here. I think you guys threw me in because I'm the only one without an L in my name. So we got Len, we got Leah, Landis. So I'm Jesse Cheatham. I work with a company out of Red Deer called PV Industries. We operate retail stores, agricultural, hardware, homesteading, a little different, under the PV Mart or Main Street Hardware banner. So right now we have 40 stores in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and we've just bought a company out of Ontario which has another 50. So finally getting our way out east. Today I'm just going to share some ideas with you, some ideas on what we're doing, maybe what fed into our most admired corporate cultures. Because the thing is with PV, we found that we have a tremendous amount of long-term employees. And so we're trying to really do a lot of work to understand why that is, because that's something that not a lot of businesses have. So really trying to talk about that today. And I'm sorry for the Canadian Tire folks, you'll have to bear with me as I share some examples from our company, but hopefully you can take some stuff away from it. So do you just want me to point to you, wink at you?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So let's talk about finding people first. Just like humans, candidates are attracted to people that are self-aware, or organizations that are self-aware. So that's why I say know thy organization. So I'm going to start with something a little bit different. So you can just hit ahead twice. So there's an ancient Greek parable, the fox and the hedgehog. Have you guys heard this before? Anybody? Okay. So first thing, did anyone think they'd hear about foxes or hedgehogs here today? Probably not. Okay. So the fox and the hedgehog. So let's talk about the fox. Outwardly, the fox has everything going for it, right? It's smart, it's fast, it's cunning, it's deadly. However, it can pursue many different prey, right? So because of this, its thinking is not always focused. It's a little bit unscattered, or a little bit scattered, I should say. It's unfocused. Now look at our hedgehog here. Pretty underwhelming, right? So the hedgehog, they're slow, they're steady, they're underwhelming, pretty unassuming. The big difference, though, is the hedgehog knows one thing, and it knows it better than anything else. It knows that if it rolls up into a ball, whatever is coming after it, or the fox, it can't get it. Pretty simple. And they use this one guiding principle to do everything that they do. And because of that, they're successful against an outwardly much more skilled animal. So now moving on, how that works with attraction. Just one more time there.
I didn't mean to go out of the way, I'm sorry.
Not to worry. Okay, has anyone heard of the book Good to Great? It's a Jim Collins book. Great book. So he really embraces this, and he calls it the hedgehog concept. And it's really critical when you're talking about bringing in the best people you can. Know what you're about. So do some self-assessment. The three principles he really focuses on are right here: your passion, your talent, and your economic engine. So as an organization, what do you love to do? What are you the best at? And what makes you money? Because obviously you got to stay in business. So bringing it back to what we do at PV, we love to offer people an alternative retail experience, something different from your everyday, not your big box. We are the best at creating like a community meeting place. You go into a PV Mart, it's not the most exciting place in the world. I'll outwardly say that. But what you'll find is it's like a community hub. And it feels like it's like the only one in a chain. It doesn't feel like it's a company. It feels like it's a mom and pop store, which is really unique. And obviously to make money, we sell everyday agriculture, hardware, homesteading, all those kind of goods at a fair price. So that's what we do there. Now, just as important, like the hedgehog, we got to know our weaknesses. So before you go looking for your people, what are you not good at? Who do you not attract? Do you ever think about that? Are you the fox out there looking for every candidate under the sun? Or are you focusing on finding the right ones? Really important thing to think about. Now, another point I want you to contemplate is we can, as executives, we can all sit around the table and talk with each other and come up with all these great things and look at our, our guiding principles, our core values, our mission statement. But what do your people say? And is it congruent? And so stop and think about that. And if it's not, bring that back to your executive team or to your boss or whoever it is and say, hey, maybe we're missing the mark a little bit. And you'll probably know pretty quick as soon as you start looking at this. So again, be self-aware. That's the best way to really get started. All right, so now you've done some self-assessment and you're ready to start looking for those great people. Where do you start? First thing I'm going to tell you is use video. How many people on here, they look at their Facebook feed or social media feed, and it's all video, right? It's all short content. Anyone know what the reason for that is? You probably do.
Keep your attention span longer.
Exactly. I was going to say, where's our marketing people, right? It's all about attention span. So use that. And there's so many ways to do it without a lot of cost or inexpensively. So try and do that. First thing you'll find in all our external PV ads, and I'll share this with you as well, we have a culture video. It's the first thing. So posting culture video. Because more importantly than finding 100 candidates, we just want to find the 5, 6, 7, 8 right ones. That's the most important thing. This point here, you want to find the right candidates, not all the candidates. How many people put out a posting now and get like 100 applicants? Right? That's the reality you're in right now. It's tough.
But they're not qualified.
No. So what type of candidates are you getting?
Well, the problem, I guess, like maybe retail and some other industries are a little bit different, but I need
Sorry, hold on. You might need to talk to that a little bit.
My problem is that I actually need qualified people. We just posted a web developer position at the end of August, and I just went through resumes last week, and I had too many people say, I think web development is cool. No, I need you to know how to do it. So I had 35 applicants, and I'm throwing all these resumes away because they don't even have the skills that were on the job posting, and it's just really, that's the most frustrating part, is the people that I'm getting all these applications, but they're not even qualified. So it takes a lot of time to even find the 5 that may be qualified.
Yeah. Great point. That's the reality right now. With the economic landscape, the way it is, you're going to get all those people just reaching out because they want an opportunity. So we'll talk a little bit about how we actually get to that first, or a little bit later, but with that reality, you got to make sure that you're shooing away as many people as you're bringing to the table. So that's really important. Now, the next point here, make it easy to apply. Have you ever personally gone through some of the websites to apply?
Yes.
And you click here, you fill this in, you wait 5 days, you fill this in. It's just way too cumbersome. So make it easy. Have a careers@mycompany.com. Put it on your website, put it on your ads. Make it simple. And the next thing is, where do you post? For your entry-level positions, make it easy again. Where are the people? They're on Kijiji, they're on Indeed, they're on social media. So use those. Obviously for your executives or for your technical positions, use the boards where those people go. Like for example, with the HRA, they post right with the HRA. You're looking for an HR professional, post to the HRA. Same with accounting or any other technical type position. All right, if you want to move forward there, Landis. So this is our culture video. I'm going to show a bit of it, and then depending on how much time we have, we'll show the rest. I'll just show a few minutes here. You should be able to just fire it up right in there. Here, let me give it a shot if you want. Let's see. Oops, how do I go back? We're having some technical difficulty here.
You're trying to get it to play?
Yeah. It's embedded in there.
We can download it from the...
If it's on YouTube too. Yeah. Okay. Linus, can you just help me out here? All right, minor delay here. Let's see. Where's your browser here? Chrome?
Yeah.
All right. So remember how I said we're not good on technology?
It's no internet.
Oh.
Sorry.
But we do have Wi-Fi.
Is it connected?
Okay, so let's go here then.
All right.
Sorry.
So while we're having technical difficulties, do you need me to do that or you got it?
Which one is it? This one? Should I don't guess?
You can try it, but I don't know if that'll work. No, it should be chamber.
It's not getting anything. I don't see chamber. Well, go Wi-Fi, maybe?
Only if they have a connection for that. Could try it. We can always hotspot to my phone if we have to.
Okay, what is it?
I'll just turn it on.
Danny?
Oh, the joys, huh?
Sorry about this. I didn't.
It's okay. I thought the Wi-Fi would have been already.
If you just right click in the video presentation, if you right click on it, if
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to do. No. Mobile hotspot on. Okay. All right, so this is what you're looking for when it comes on.
Awesome.
Might have to refresh it.
There you go.
Okay, and then I'll give you a password of. Okay. All right, we're almost there. So it'll be a shorter video than we thought. Where's back here? Where's your backspace? I'm used to using it. Yeah. Oh, there we
That's
go.
what it is. Well, we found something. So hopefully this is gonna. Yeah. Which one are you putting in? Just
I'm just using my mobile hotspot off my phone.
because I've got it right here.
Oh, that might be better. Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Just try refreshing it and see if it's working.
Yeah. Because if it is, then
We'll just go with it.
much better.
Yeah, okay. All right, we've got some progress. We'll use this.
you want to,
I'll just use it. It's fine.
are you sure?
Oh, yeah. That would make sense why it wouldn't play in the presentation, though, because it probably didn't have the Wi-Fi. Now, how are we for volume on this? Any idea on the volume, how to make it?
No.
All right, so volume's up on here, but are we connected to volume on there? Probably not, hey?
I don't know if there's even volume on it.
Okay, let's try. No, it's through here.
Output of volume, it's not outputting to.
Yeah. All right, we might have to give up on that if nobody can do
Hold
it.
your phone, we can watch it on your phone.
All right, well,
That's the volume. Can you do it?
no, the which? The volume just doesn't play through here, so it's just a computer volume.
Yeah, but it can't work?
Well, you can play it, but
Man.
listen, it's pretty quiet.
So it's cool to be in Strathmore finally and working on my
Okay.
own stores.
All right, we'll watch a minute or two of this anyway.
Do you want it from the beginning?
No, it's fine.
Community actually, really, there's a few behind here that people around in the front of me. They're going to be proud of this store here. It's one of the newer stores. New ideas, new stores, and dinosaur stores. Will be a nice store for sure.
Well, we've been open since the afternoon. It's been pretty exciting. It's actually been pretty busy since then. It's nice to have one in our backyard now instead of having to drive somewhere else to find one. It's right here. It's
Can anyone hear that?
No.
No?
PV brand, it almost has its own following, and I think that's something that our customer brings, is that they love that feeling, like that community. One of my favorite examples is Yorkton. You go into this store and there's a pool. You do it.
Yeah, I'll just talk about it. Well, we'll just let it play for a little bit, but essentially this is what our candidates see first thing. They're going to see a video that shows what it's like a day in the life of. And this is not just our executives. This is people at our stores. This is people in our distribution center. It's all levels of employees to kind of get a true picture of what it's like to work there.
I find that we supply stores from all over Canada. So in a sense, it gives you some kind of pride when you're doing your talent and what you would call which is going to someone else. So I kind of see that as like a circle of what PV Mark stands for: community, people, and pride. Yeah. They're like they know the guys like
I don't know if you need that or not.
it's like a small town.
If it turns up the volume, go for it. Remember, we were talking about video impact? It doesn't really have impact without volume, does it?
That's why I probably noticed that the way the subtitles on the videos were becoming more popular, because then you
idea.
can autoplay without sound and you can still know what's going on.
That's true too.
We're gonna go.
Yeah, let's just go back to the presentation. So that didn't really work, so that was fantastic. But anyway, you guys can see what the idea is there. I'll just turn it off. And then no, it's all good.
As a song?
Oh, a jingle? Yeah, we have a couple different things going on there. All right, are we back in here? All right, so we've done our job and we've found the right candidates now. We know the people that are connected to your brand and want to be part of that. We've shooed away as many as we can that don't fit that. So how do you now vet all those resumes you get, right? So the first thing I'm going to say is find an assessment, whether that's a free web-based assessment or there's also ones that are multi-thousands of dollars. Find something that works for you. And really what you want to do with this is take your final candidates and run them through it. Is it going to be 100% reason why you hire the person? Absolutely not. But it's another data point, and that's the important piece. The other thing that's really cool with any sort of profiling tool is you can take your candidates and weigh it against what you have internally. So that really helps. And take it a step further. What works even better is once you get that person hired, that manager and that employee both get that report, and they can use that as a development tool, because it really shows the tendencies and how people communicate and what they're going to be stretched at developmentally. So it's a great tool that way when you're going through and trying to figure out who it is you're going to pick. Another thing, does anyone use non-negotiable lists? Have you ever heard of that? Yeah. Ask your hiring managers and get an idea. Like, what's one thing in an interview, if someone does, it's over. I mean, you continue on, but what is one thing?
Deal breaker.
Yeah. Do you have an example?
No.
Okay.
You can work out of town. If you can't
Sorry?
work out of town for us,
That's a deal breaker.
that's a deal breaker. Driver's license too. So.
Absolutely.
Admitted drug use.
Well, yeah,
That,
drug
and we work
testing.
at a drug testing facility, so that's a no-go for us.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
People are surprisingly honest about it, which is nice, but
Oh,
not appropriate.
I'm applying for a job at a drug testing place and I'm an admitted drug user. That's interesting.
I smoke a little pot, the pot and I go to tournaments, and I'm like, that's just not really going to work for me. But thank you for your honesty.
Well, I guess the video missed that part, but
For
go ahead.
us, because we work with
Sorry.
a youth charity,
Yeah.
so it would be if you couldn't pass a vulnerable sector check.
Right. Is that like a background check for? Okay, that makes sense. So there's lots of things you can have like that. Some more basic ones are like eye contact. You know, you have that interviewee that just looks at the floor, they look everywhere else. It kind of doesn't give you a good vibe. Another one is that I personally look for is how do they speak about their current position or their current manager? If it's negative, probably a red flag. So have a non-negotiable list and then circulate that. Working interview or realistic job preview. Does anyone do that here? Yeah, Chelsea's using it now. So find a way to have some show and tell. Just like when you're kids, show what it's like on both sides of the equation. Because again, you want to make sure that your candidate has the opportunity to self-select out just as much as you have the opportunity to make sure that they're the right candidate. This could be as simple as doing a job shadow for half an hour in a busy time, right? See what it looks like. Now with this, obviously you need a framework because you can't just call somebody and be like, hey, we're going to do this job preview, and they come and work for you for a day, right? Probably wouldn't work, although you'd get a good idea of what they could do, right? Cheap labor, yeah. That'll help your metric. But find a way to do that. Like even in the retail setting, it's simple as like, sell me this product, right? Or you can say like, hey, can you take a look at this little section and what would you do to merchandise it better? You know, have some sort of show and tell there. Now the number one thing I want everybody to highlight, sticky note, circle, whatever you do, if you remember nothing else from today, is this: hire for attitude. Kind of getting to your point, those people that are ambitious is good, but they have to have transferable skills. So you don't necessarily need direct experience, because that's where we get it wrong, is when we're hiring. Oh, this person's got great experience. They've done this job for 20 years. Yeah, but do they want to do it for you? Do they? Maybe, maybe not. They might be lukewarm to it. Especially once you do the RJP, are they still that interested? If they're not, that's okay. It's like a relationship. You don't want somebody that's half invested, right? You want that candidate to be all in. So again, circle it, highlight it, whatever you want to do on your notes. That's your one takeaway for today for sure. Hire for attitude, because you can't teach it. And those are going to be your superstars. All right, moving on. So I like to make things very simple and give you a cheat sheet. So for this section, here's your cheat sheet. So again, self-awareness is key to attraction, right? Know what your organization's about and know it from the ground up. It's not an exercise in the executive sitting around a table and putting it out there. It's what do your people say? Be transparent and show the world your quirks. So use the video, show what it's like to be there. A day in the life of this organization. Make it easy to apply. So use that careers ad email. Try not to use any of those long, redundant systems, although sometimes you don't have a choice. Use testing, non-negotiable lists, working interviews, find the team and culture fit you're looking for. And again, the biggest one is hire for attitude. All right, Landis. All right, I love this slide. My assistant did a great job with that one. So keeping great people. This is where we did a lot of work in PV and looking at our long-term employees and also looking at the managers of those employees. Like what worked? That was really key to us. So as managers and as supervisors, we have an option. We can either get this raving fan on the left, or you can get the nervous nail biter on the right. And where does that all start? It starts on the very first moment they walk through your doors. Who started a job here and they walk in, you don't really know who to talk to, you go to an office, you're not really sure where, you do your paperwork. It's an awkward experience, isn't it? That's the biggest opportunity we have, is to make that first impression. So I'm going to implore you to do more with it. I want to share a story about this. So in a past life, past employer I was with, I worked with the store manager and she was an absolute rock star at this. She got a lot of flack for it from her peers. They're like, why do you do all this? It's so cheesy. But this is what she did. So during the final interviews, she'd ask, what's one thing under $10 that you crave incessantly or that you can't live without? And nobody thinks anything of it, none's a little wiser. So I walk in my first day in this store, if I was that new employee, this is what you walk into. Every single employee that day greeted them by name and said, hey, Jesse, welcome to our team. We're happy to have you here. And I saw this and I'm like, whoa, that's already powerful enough, right? Then I go back and I sit down in my little indescript office to do my new hire paperwork. And there was flowers or balloons, like just something cheap to kind of spruce it up a bit, right? Make it exciting. And then of course, there came the gift bag. So they had a little gift bag like you get at your kid's birthday party, full of like company swag and everything else. And then there was that one item under $10 from the interview. Is it cheesy? Yes, 100%. But the level of engagement from that point on was incredible. And as much flack as this person got for doing all this, I've never seen a more engaged team. And it was all from that first impression. So find a way to make that work for your location, for your office. It's not going to work exactly that way for you, but find a way to make it different. Because our first impressions are incredibly powerful. So now the important question, why do people leave? So we've done our job, right? We've cut through all those resumes. We found the people that connect with us. We've hired the perfect person. And we've given that first day that was remarkable. So now how do we keep them? You don't want all your people to leave, right? I mean, even if you're downsizing, you want the right people to stay. So again, why do people leave? Is it pay?
Most of the time not.
Right?
Yeah.
As long as you're in the ballpark, it's not pay. What about benefits? Not usually, right? There are all those add-ons that are helpful and they can be great, but they're probably not going to be what someone chooses to leave over. Opportunity for advancement, again, important, but probably not the reason. The number one reason, and studies show this time and time again, is that relationship between their supervisor, their direct manager. 100% that's why people leave. So what's the moral of the story here?
Your managers need to be really good.
Or at least good at connecting on some level, right? If your managers aren't good at connecting with their people, you have some options, but A, train them, B, repurpose them if they don't fit in that role. I think Leonard's mentioned something about that in his presentation. Obviously, the last result, or resort, I should say, is to promote them to customer, but that's a different conversation. It's incredibly important that we fix that. So let's talk about that relationship a little bit more. Go ahead. So I think we touched on this a little bit. There were some questions about how do we measure? And so this is really important. How do we measure that relationship between that supervisor and that direct report? And this is how you do it. Engagement or 360s, and also turnover. And measure that year after year and compare it. What we do at PV is we have engagement where we have every single person that works in a location ranks what it's like to work for their manager. And then year after year, we look at it and we analyze it and we set goals around it. You should be the same or better. We always say better every year. And same with 360s. Get that feedback in a way that works. Turnover. Yes.
Do you find that performance, I guess, in a, I'll just talk really loud. I'm good, bro. But I guess in a business where there's only 10 of us and I'm the supervisor for everyone, how do I get honest feedback when they're giving it to me?
Okay. Correct. Use an online system, like you can use SurveyMonkey, and a lot of them are free, so that you can just send them a link, they fill it out confidentially, and it comes in. So you'll have 10 results and you won't know who said what.
Oh, that's a good idea. Because usually I'm like, write it down, but the reality is I know everyone's right.
So make it more confidential.
Okay.
Good point.
Good idea, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And turnover. So not only measuring turnover, but what does turnover mean to you? We're in retail. According to Bloomberg average, last year was around 60% in retail for turnover. That's high. But what does that mean? Every business is different. So know what it is for your industry and then take it a step further. So at PV, we noticed that we had around the average, that 60% turnover. But then what we found is after year 3, it almost completely was eradicated, almost completely gone. So we learned 3 things from that. One, we need to do a better job at finding and connecting and hiring those people at the door. So that's where our videos and storytelling and doing all those things we talked about earlier, that's where we started down that journey. Now, the second thing we learned is our culture and our jobs aren't for everybody. And that's okay. That's actually really good because you don't want everybody. You want people that fit. And then the third thing we noticed is if people were with us 3 years or longer, they were staying. They were in it for the long haul. So that's what I mean by turnover. Know what it means to you in your organization. Because just looking at a number doesn't necessarily tell you everything you need to know. Bamboo HR, I believe, has the dashboards and stuff. Most of your payroll softwares, if you have any sort of time capturing, will also have metrics to show you that, or an easy way to pull the reports. Some are a little harder than others. Okay, so we talked about how we measure the relationship. How do we make it better? So we've established this is the baseline for the direct report and supervisor relationship. So how do we make it better? You got to get more opportunities for feedback. Don't let your managers be the type that sit in an office all day. I mean, yes, our work needs to get done, but make sure they're getting out and connecting. Some ideas that we're working on, not all of these we have, but things that work. 1 quarter once. Sit down with your direct reports once a quarter, even if it's informally for 10, 15 minutes. Make that connection. Talk about your status, how all the work's going. Set some goals. Keep track of goals. Stop, start, continue. So this might not work for you because people don't want to tell you stuff. But this can be really eye-opening. If you have a really good rapport with your people, sit down and say, what's one thing you'd like me to stop doing that I'm currently doing? Again, that rapport is really important there. What's one thing you'd like me to start doing? And what's thing we're doing that we can continue doing? You can get some really eye-opening feedback with that little exercise. And my favorite one, management by walking around. And not just because we're in a walking challenge right now, but get out, schedule it into your week. Your manager should get out and connect with everybody. It shouldn't be something that happens by accident, like they're going to the bathroom or the coffee room. Oh, hey, schedule it in, make it happen. Again, you got to increase the number of opportunities for feedback. Now, these last points I want to talk to you about. So, like I had said, last year we did a really deep dive into our tenured employees. Like in our retail stores, we have 20, 30, even 40-year employees. So we wanted to know what makes that happen. And this is what came out when we interviewed these people and their managers. They were respected, right? The golden rule, simple but effective. Praised, like 10 to 1 positive to negative. It was, great job, you're doing great, thanks for doing this. And that takes me to the next point. Say thank you. Get your managers to say thank you. I know we're taught that as kids, but it's incredibly powerful just to say to somebody, thank you for doing your job today, or thank you for helping me out on that project. It's simple, but it's effective. The other thing we learned is managers have to take a genuine, and that's why it's in bold text here, authentic interest in your people. This isn't the interview anymore. You can ask all those questions. Hey, how many kids do you have? Are you married? Are you single? Whatever. Ask those questions. You don't want to be necessarily friends with your people as a manager, but you do want to have a friendly, healthy connection there. And the more you can really talk to your people and increase those connections, the more engaged they're going to be, the more they're going to want to stay. And this was really an interesting thing that came out, is people wanted to know why things were changing if they were. Your example for particular, if you're downsizing, best thing you can do is say, hey, you know what, we've decided we're going to roll back hours from 40 to 35 for everybody. So at face value, people are upset. But if you say, we're doing this because we want everyone to keep their jobs, all of a sudden they have a lot greater understanding, right? And it's just that simple. So whenever there's a change, encourage your managers to involve their people. Let them know why the change is happening. All right, Landis, thanks. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, lots of time.
Yeah, lots of time.
Okay, cheat sheet again for keeping great people. Make that first day matter. Find something that works for you and your organization. Make it memorable and just make something happen that's different. Make that experience on the first day different than what they expect. Measure 360's engagement, turnover. Know what those look like for your department, for your company, and know what that means in context of what you're doing. Improve that relationship with the manager and the direct report, so that more frequent feedback. And then with all your people, we need respect, we need to praise, and we need to give thanks. Again, we need authentic, genuine interest in our people. And lastly, we need to involve them and communicate why things are changing. Any questions to this point? No? We're doing all right? I know it's been a long morning sitting, right? Okay, moving on. So growing our people. I like this metric too, because I think when you look at the picture on the left, you really see something that's growing in a systemic, kind of very planned way. Or on the right, you see the wilting and not so pretty picture. But I think what we fail to realize in organizations is that growth isn't always about promotions or increasing salary or climbing the corporate ladder. I mean, yes, those are important, but that's not what people yearn for in and of itself. Things like stretch assignments, more responsibility, connecting with the organization on another level. That's really what growth is about. So let's talk a little bit about that. All right, so at PV, what we're trying to do is we're trying to cultivate what we call a holistic or whole self development. Are we there yet? No, but this is what we're trying to do. So let's start with professional development. What are some examples that come to mind with professional development?
Some training, like formal training.
Formal training, okay. Anything else?
Management skills, leadership development.
So what does that look like though, like for professional development wise? Where do they get that?
Most of ours is actually in-house.
In-house,
Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys have a lot of infrastructure and resources around that. That's awesome. So professional development is critically important. We need to keep our people learning. We need to make them better. But what we need to do is we need to have some framework around that. So first thing is make sure you have the funds set aside. I think it was Nicole who was here earlier and left. It's Alberta Labor? Or anyway, yes. I think it was. She mentioned the Canada-Alberta Job Grant.
Yes.
If you haven't used this for external training, you need to. Basically what it is, you need somebody to go get some professional development training, you apply to the government first. They approve you, you send them, And yes, it's the government, so it might take 6 months to get your money back, but you get 2/3 of your money back. So that's huge, right?
It doesn't take 6 months.
Oh, really? See, ours has taken like 3 to 6 months, but if it's quicker, even better, right? So use that. But again, have some framework around that professional development. Have some funds set aside. Also have some sort of application process. Why do people want and what do they want to develop in? Maybe they just write to their boss and say, this is what I want to learn and this is why. It can be really informal too. And I think you had mentioned something about a debrief process instead of just having, here's my training, put it on the shelf. That's critically important. Because how often do you go for training and then you're like, oh, that was great, file it.
Debrief and measure.
Yeah, right? What did you learn and how did you apply it?
Not just measure one quarter after.
Good point. Really good point. So have those confines to it. Now, think outside the job description. What can we do and what's available that isn't just going to cost you money? Maybe it's something simple. Maybe it's a job shadow. Maybe you have someone that's aspiring, say, in your store. You have that really ambitious part-time employee. Hey, I want to be a manager someday. All right, come job shadow for an hour. You can do a lot of informal things that are going to promote this development. Also, peer-to-peer training is huge too. How else can you cross-functionally train? Doesn't have to be a lot of dollars expended, and I know there's a lot of not-for-profits and stuff, so that's important, right? How do you train and not spend a bunch of money? And the last thing I want to talk about is connecting on social media. One of the biggest things we did as a company is we went and got our own internal social media. It completely revolutionized the way we train, the way we communicate. Our email numbers have gone from hundreds and hundreds way down because you can do it all on this site. Training as well, like I had said, now it's as simple as we can share internally, anybody can, on this social media. So say I see something happening or I want to talk about something, I can video it and upload it, and then people can learn from that. It can be that simple. If that's too cumbersome or maybe costly to get started, make sure your organization has some sort of social media so that your employees can connect with it. You know, your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, there's 1,000 of them now that I'm probably unaware of. Make sure you have people that are also in charge of that. And also talking about stretch assignments and things like that, why not have a social media team that's not part of their regular everyday job? You probably have people in your organization that are fantastic at that it's not what they do every day. So leverage that. And also going back here to think outside the job description, employee-led committees, things like wellness committees or idea committees, have them self-manage and get people from different parts of the organization. Again, you don't always want that top-down. Usually the best ideas come from the bottom up, right? So another powerful way to do that. All right, Landis, if you can move us forward a bit. Okay, so this is more cutting edge, and hopefully your organization and yourselves are starting to think about this. This is the personal development side of that holistic approach. So some of these ideas, and the reason we have it laid out here is these ideas can be a little bit far-fetched in and of themselves, so we got to start small. So encouraging philanthropy. Why would you want to do that as an organization? Any ideas? Thoughts? Why would you want your people to give and to connect with causes?
It connects you to your community.
100%, right? Connects you with your community. So starting small, every organization in here probably gives to different causes, right? So why not start small and say, hey, let's shortlist that to 4 or 5 and send out a survey and let our people choose. Small, but now all of a sudden they're connecting more. Hey, my organization cares about the same causes that I do. That's powerful, right? Now leverage your team and take it a step further. Make it an auto deduction. Okay, you know what? We're going to do that vote, and for this quarter, we're going to allow you to auto deduct whatever amount you want directly to this charity. Taking that next step along there, right? Now take the leap, dream big. Again, in and of itself might be a big step. How about giving people a day off with pay to go volunteer? You guys do that? Fantastic. I like it. Again, in and of itself, it might be a lot to think about if you're not there today, but take those steps and maybe you get there.
If you're recruiting Gen Ys, it goes a long way.
Absolutely. You're trying to connect with those younger generations. That's what you need to do. Great point. So think of it that way. Now, let's talk about some other ideas. Personal development. Let's start small. So peer-to-peer learning. What about just doing lunch and learns? It doesn't cost you anything. Say, hey, you know what? Every week we're going to have a new lunch and learn. We'll leave it up to a committee, again, employee-led committee. Bring in somebody from the community that wants to come and talk about fitness or health or whatever it is. Any business or person that has that type of business is going to want to do it because it's beneficial to them. And all of a sudden your employees are learning things outside of work, at work. They're making that connection. Because that's what people want. They want that connection between who they are outside of work and who they are at work to all be really fluid. And that'll start getting you that. Now leverage your team and take it a step further. What about focusing on your people and what they do great away from work? Maybe you have someone that's an awesome cook. All right, lunch and learn, let's have you lead cooking classes. How about art? Maybe there's someone that's a painter or plays an instrument. Another way you can do it. So these are ways that you can leverage your team. And then again, taking the leap. How do you take that the step further? Well, personal development, one idea that I keep pushing and I hope more organizations embrace is a paid sabbatical. So what some places are doing is saying, okay, you've been here 10 years or more. You're gonna have an opportunity to take a month off with pay to pursue personal development. Again, you need a process around it. So maybe you write into a committee and it says, okay, this is what I want to learn and this is how I'm going to do it. They get approved, they come back, and then there's a process around that. Let's interview you and let's learn about what you've learned and how you can apply it. Now, the interesting thing is companies that have done this, they talk about a remarkable rebirth of like a 10 to 20 year employee. Now all of a sudden they have this 20-year employee that may have been a little bit stagnant that all of a sudden is incredibly engaged. And yes, you've invested a lot of capital and time and things like that to do this, but if you can make it happen, that person is not going anywhere. There's no chance they're leaving. They are so engaged. So again, dreaming big, taking the giant leap is hard in and of itself, but take those little steps to connect and really move it along that continuum. All right, moving on. All right, your cheat sheet for this one. So professional development. Set aside funds and have a process. Use the Canada-Alberta Job Grant. Again, highlight, circle, sticky note, whatever you do to make sure you pull that out. Push people to do things outside their job description. Stretch them, right? Maybe in a pinch, you have people that have a skill set you don't even know about. So why not encourage that? We talked about those silos earlier. That's how you break down those silos. You say, hey, you know what? We have a short time to accomplish something great. You have a skill set in this. Can you help us out on this project? Let them do it. It doesn't always have to be formal. That's how you break down those silos. Personal development, connect people to the greater cause. Like we heard, I mean, that's going to really connect those Gen Ys with you. Cultivate outside of work passion. So that's where your employees are teaching employees, right? Lunch and learns, whatever that is. And then take a leap and dream big. So cultivate mastery in your employees. Whether it's internally for what they're doing or their outside of work passions, bring it all together. I think that's pretty well it, Landis. All right, here's my email. You'll probably find it in the information too. Reach out to me at any time if you have any questions or there's anything I can do to help you in your organization, let me know.